Hey book reader friends, this is Christy with Tatted Hat Girl Reads. Today is the first day you've actually seen me in my hat, so the Tatted Hat Girl part makes more sense. On my fitness channel, I'm known as Tatted Hat Girl, and when I started the reading channel, I just added reads to it. So Tatted Hat Girl Reads, the brand was already known, and I wanted to kind of keep it within the family. And it just became the thing to do. Today, for some reason, is the first day I'm wearing my hat here. But I wear it all the time on my fitness channel because, you know, when you're working out, a hat is nice. I do wear junk bands, but the hats are a little easier to deal with. I want to talk about today Goodreads, my goal there, and the TBR that's left for the month of February and what I'm currently reading. And let's get started. I hope you are doing fantastic wherever you are and whatever time of day you are watching this. It is cold here in Texas, as it has been the last few weeks. The last video, I talked about it, and today, guess what? It's going to reach 11 and 12 a couple nights this week, so I'm not excited. So reading, I might get a little bit more done. I went from 60 last year on Goodreads as my goal, and actually no, my goal was like 40, but I broke 60 reads, which is pretty impressive when you figure I'm in school full time, so I read a lot. And I was reading books that are 400 pages and above. Except for the month of December, I did take some time to read some smaller books like The Pearl by John Steinbeck. And then there was a few little small, less than 100 page books. But for the majority of the year, I am reading somewhere around 400 and above. Crescent City Book 3 came out, and I was into that so hard, and that kind of set the tone for the year. So it was a pretty hefty year, and so it was extra impressive that I reached 60. I know other people get into the hundreds, but I'm happy with 60. So much so that this year I decided to take it down because there was a book, Sleep Tight. I loved that book. I gave that book a 5-star, but I could not tell you guys anything about that book. So it let me know that I was doing quantity over quality, and I would much rather enjoy my reads than try to meet some self-set goal to compete or to even have content. To be honest with you, I'd rather skip a week of recording because I'm reading a little slower and actually enjoy it more. And then that is what brings us to 2025. I've taken my my book goal down to 30 this year. As I told you in one of my other videos, is that I wanted to read at least book 1 of all the series. I own Joe Abercrombie's. I own a lot of Brandon Sanderson. I now have almost the full copies of the Robin Hobbs world. And so that one is 5 different series within that world. So I want to be able to read at least book 1 of each series. And to do that, these are some big books. So I decided to take that count way down. And if I crush it, so what? If I don't hit it, so what? As long as I actually reach the goal of book 1 of all the series I own this year, I will be happy. But taking that down means that I get to read a little slower. I get to enjoy the books that I am reading. Currently on my February TBR, I am reading Four Ruined Realms, and I switched to audiobook with this one. I read 5 Broken Blades. I read that one, but I'm listening to this one just to ensure that I get into it this year. And unfortunately, the audiobook again for me is hurting. The audiobook was fantastic for Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. Loved it so much. I'm even re-listening to it with my husband because he's coming into it now, and he's listening to it when we go to different towns to do different appointments, and we ride together, and I get to hear it again, and I'm amazed and blown away at the narration. So I know it's not just me zoning out, but with Four Ruined Realms, I can honestly say I wish I had read the book. I've done myself another disservice by listening to the book. However, the story is still fun. It's a group of people that they need to connect in order to create this ultimate heist, and they've come together at odds. They don't trust each other, and they have to complete this task in order to survive and save the people they love. It's a fantastic story. I'm loving it. I'm actually, book 3, I want to say comes out this summer in 2025. So I do need to finish that. I like to finish it this week. I'm roughly 50% through. Book 3, I probably will end up switching back to reading on my Kindle for that one. Once that is done, I am hopping on. So excited to be able to get into this. One is book 2 of Heartless Hunter. I went ahead and got this one book of the month because Heartless Hunter, I had already owned book of the month and I wanted them to match. I will tell you, Fairy Loot is running what looks like a pre-sale. I didn't go to their website yet to look at it. I just saw their Instagram post, and it looks like they're doing a pre-sale because it looks like they're going to ship somewhere between December of 25 and January of 26. So if you're interested in getting a special edition copy of Rebel Witch, do that. Do check them out. I didn't want to get a special edition, even though I love this series so much. I didn't want to do a special edition of this because I knew I didn't have a special edition of Heartless Hunter. I haven't looked on Pango yet to see if anyone has anything out there for sale, but I may do that and then potentially then go and do Rebel Witch as a special edition, but I'm not going to just do one of them and not both. I guess that makes sense. In Four Ruined Realms, that book has no spice so far. I do like to kind of talk about that a little bit more this year. So this way, you know, if you're checking to say, hey, I want a book that's very spicy or a book I don't want any spice, that you'll get both of that information on both directions from me going forward. And so far, there's really no spice. There's a love interest subplot, I would say, but right now there's been no spice. And I'm halfway through book 2. Rebel Witch, again, it's young adult, so it's gonna, if it has any later, it's not gonna have much, I would think. A Heartless Hunter didn't really have any spice, and Rebel Witch, I project that it doesn't, but I will update you once I finish that book. I am ready to get on that book so hard, but I'm waiting for it to actually release so that I can get the ebook on it. So I might actually wait closer towards the release date, which I want to say is the 25th, and today's the 16th. Maybe it's the 18th. If it's the 18th, I'll buy that this week and hop on it this week, actually. I'll verify that myself. And if I find out the date, I might put it down in the comments for you or in the description. A couple things I picked up yesterday. Actually, I'll just show you the one because the other one is just a business book. But this one, I already owned it, but I didn't own the Loot Crate copy. And I went to Half Price Books because I live in Texas where we have half price books. And they had this there, and okay, first off, it's a signed edition, but I do have to tease Martha Wells for this. That signature, it literally says signed limited edition, published in association with Illumicrate. And I'm going to say, that doesn't look like a signature at all, but it is a signed edition. The pages are cute. I just hit myself in the head. The front covers, I hope you can see that. But yeah, it is absolutely adorable. And I went ahead and picked that up yesterday, but I also picked up a YouTube book. But I sold so many books to Half Price Books, and I only got $25. So I use that towards the credit. However, I think that will be my last unhaul that I take there. Going forward, I think I'm going to start putting them on Pango Books because that was quite the letdown. I'm not here to totally make profit necessarily, but I would at least like to get 25% of what I paid, pretty close to what Amazon is running on their pricing, so maybe a couple dollars under. So I don't think asking for 25% is that much to ask, especially when I didn't see any of these books that I traded in yesterday on their shelves. But, you know, I digress. We'll move on. You know, I could sit here with that one all day. I probably will start selling them again on Pango. I sold the special edition of Iron Flame this week, and that's really the only thing I've sold in a couple months there. What else is going on? Rebel Witch Book 2. Picked up Martha Wells. I do want to talk about, and I'm only briefly, I would say Heartless Hunter was my favorite witch story of 24. But Wayward was a close second. It was fun and cozy. I mean, that's really all I can say about that to you. If you're looking for a fun, fast, cozy witch story, it's less than 350 pages. You can knock this out so quick. And many of you read so fast, you could probably knock it out in a weekend. Me, 350 is around a week when I'm nighttime reading. But that one was a 5-star for me. Heartless Hunter was a 5-star for me. This year is the the year of reading book 1 of my series that I own. Last year fell into my lap by accident. It became a year of witches. Stone Witch of Florence and A Sorceress Comes to Call. I read those two as well Both were 5-star reads for me. I am blown away by how much I enjoyed witch stories. I didn't see that coming at all. I am normally mystery, suspense, and in the last roughly 3 to 4 years became fantasy. To have a witch themed storyline and enjoying it blew my mind, because I'm over vampires and such many years ago. Thank you, Twilight, for ruining that for me. A House of Flame and Shadow actually has a witch in there. So technically I read I want to say 5 witch books last year out of the 60. You know, hey, it worked out. It was fun. But this is the end of this video. I want to remind you all, if you have not subscribed, to please subscribe so that I can continue on being motivated to do these videos. They are fun. I enjoy them. My husband and I were talking about this at Black Rifle Coffee yesterday. We had to sit down, and it's just these are videos I just really enjoy doing, because books are something I've enjoyed since I was little, since I was reading Nancy Drew. And if you stick around, you can follow me out through the year. I'm doing weekly videos. And yeah, like this video if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you next week. Bye!